Warning: some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, Nyonstar here, and we're finally at the end of elementary school. I know you might be getting sick of the frequent school stories, but I want to get to the story of how I dropped out, so the quicker we get through these, the sooner you can hear about one of the worst years of my life. Definitely in the top 19. I haven't really discussed the other staff that I interacted with at school. I briefly mentioned the PE coach in my kindergarten video. I liked him a lot because he was fine with me sitting out and not doing anything I didn't want to. In 4th grade, he was switched out with this other coach. She was less understanding, and she forced me to participate. And the librarian worked for the school for a long time. She was around when my sister was in elementary school. She was very nice, but she also wouldn't let you read the books that were in a higher grade than you were. Very annoying when you have a higher reading level. I remember she would sit us on these stairs that led down to a flat piece of ground so she could read to us. She was also switched out with a less friendly woman. I can't remember if she was replaced during 4th grade or 5th, but I'm mentioning it now. She once made us read in that space by ourselves, and then locked us behind book fair shelves. We didn't like her very much. Speaking of people, I should talk about some classmates. X from 3rd grade made his return. Heather from 1st grade was also in this class. I mentioned in the 3rd grade video that there was a set of twins. I had R in my class that year, but I had her sister L in my 5th grade class. And then there was Amber. There were actually 2 Ambers in this class, but I didn't know the other one all that well. So when I refer to Amber, I'm referring to this one. She was my best friend for the year, and had a terrible lying problem. She would say things like, "PewDiePie is my cousin," and "the FNAF animatronics live at my house." I never believed her, but she loved saying things like this. I once shared an idea for a comic I had, and she took it and suggested I change literally everything about it. I only ever took in one character she made, and I changed everything about her. She would draw super accurate Attack on Titan art, but I think it was traced. While I started Gifted in the last year, all my Gifted stories are from 5th grade. The Gifted teacher was actually my sister's 5th grade teacher. And my 5th grade teacher was the Gifted teacher when Dee was in school. The Gifted class was in a portable, and we would be taken there for a whole day once a week. I was the only girl in my Gifted class, and it felt like the boys definitely looked down on my intelligence a bit. One time I said I had a headache, and one boy told me that was because I had a smaller brain, and nearly beat his ass. I liked going to Gifted, but I found math very stressful. So I would fake being sick on the days I had Gifted. Eventually, we had a meeting, and it was decided that when math started, I would go back to my regular class and take regular math. I didn't mind this at all, but it did result in me forgetting things in the Gifted class and having to run and get it before the door was locked. My 5th grade teacher loved having activities for us to do. One was actually an idea she got from the Gifted teacher. We were given a story about littering, and we needed to figure out who did it. We did rotating labs where we did small chemistry stuff. In the end, the answer was that it was Avery won because everyone did it. I was so mad. Like, it was just a pun? What was the point of all this then? Another activity was drawing this shape, but you can't lift your pen or retrace over a line you've drawn. No one could ever do it. I think I figured it out in high school, but I can't remember. We also had the PB&J activity. We had to write down the steps of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on index cards. Then our teacher would try to make one as literal as possible. So if you said to put peanut butter on the bread, she'd place the whole jar on it. It was very funny. I had very turbulent relationships this year. I was pretty good friends with Elle for a while. I gave her my mom's phone number, and we'd talk for hours. I kept trying to push Vocaloid music on her. Eventually, she just randomly told me she didn't want to talk to me anymore. She said it very condescendingly, too. I think this actually might have happened in 4th grade, but I can't remember. Anyway, towards the beginning of 5th grade, she started spreading a rumor that I was stuffing my bra, even though I didn't even own any bras at the time. This made me so incredibly uncomfortable. My teacher pulled me to the side and asked what the problem was. I was so overwhelmed and uncomfortable that I physically couldn't talk. I ended up writing it on a sticky note. She scolded the girls who were saying it, and it died down. When I tried to break off a friendship, it didn't go very well. I tried to break it off with Amber, But when I tried, my mom screamed at me for being a terrible person and forced me to make up with her. I just wanted to be alone. Anyway, now on to my relationship with X. We tried to date again this year. He even surprise kissed me. I remember being very confused and uncomfortable that he didn't ask first. Eventually we moved back to being just friends. I think he wasn't very happy with this though, because he started antagonizing me. Like when I jokingly called him a meanie, and he angrily called me a fat bitch. The teacher wasn't very happy with him. And when I told him I was going to a different middle school, he threw a fit and yelled at me. We still had good moments though, like when we sang the Steven Universe theme song for the class. On second thought, maybe that wasn't a good moment. Speaking of non-consensual kissing, that wasn't the only time. One time at recess I had buried myself up to my waist. While I couldn't move, a boy I had never even met before came up behind me. I felt arms wrap around me and lips on my neck. I yelled and he ran for it. By the time I was free, he was gone. I felt too embarrassed to go to any teachers about it. Felt like it was my fault for making myself vulnerable. That's not right though. It's always the fault of the one who disrespects your boundaries, not yours. And it wasn't only kids that were gross towards me. Like this time Heather and I were walking to the other side of school to get picked up. While we were walking, we came across 2 janitors. They whistled at us and made some gross comments. We were 10 years old. We ran from them and were grossed out. Heather said the next day that she told her mom about it and the janitors got in trouble, but she could have been bluffing. I got paranoid about them lurking around the corner for the rest of the year. Adults didn't treat me very well. In the previous year, I decided to wear cat ears for my school photo. While my dad and I were walking, a teacher shouted at me. He said that I looked ridiculous and had his whole class laugh at me. There weren't many kids, but it still made me cry. I didn't wear my cat ears for the rest of the day. Back to 5th grade, I wanted to go on the swings with Mason. While I was talking, I fell backwards off the swing. I cried and Mason went to get a teacher. He came back with the teacher from earlier. We told him what happened, and he looked me straight in the face and called me an idiot. All the kids that were around and I went to our teacher to report him. She called him on the walkie-talkie, asked if he called me an idiot, and he said no. She turned around and told us not to tell lies about people. I still boil with rage when I think about this. I'd like to talk about something more serious and traumatic. Towards the end of the year, we went into an emergency lockdown. We were told there was a scooter across the street. Sorry I have to censor the word for YouTube, but I think you get what I mean. This was about 2 years after the 2012 elementary school scooting. We were terrified. It took us until the sun came down for us to get picked up. There was a scoot out in the apartments across the street from us. These were the apartments that my family moved away from a few years prior. Let's move on to something more lighthearted, shall we? We got to do a musical this year. We sang some songs about American history, and we all got to say a line about history in between. During rehearsal, one girl fainted. Apparently she had her knees locked, which cut off blood flow, and she passed out. Remember to bend your knees if you're going to be standing in one place for a while. We got to do 2 performances. One for the student body, and one for our parents. The student one went by fine, but there were more problems for me during the parent one. My parents brought me in late, so I didn't have time to get dressed or grab our playbook with all the lines in it. The teachers were mad at me, but there was nothing anyone could really do about it. Luckily, the person next to me let me use their book, and hopefully no parents noticed I wasn't in costume. Theater is just too stressful for me. And finally, there was a rhyme I learned on the last day of school. You'd draw the letters T-H-I-S on your knuckles, a bug on your palm, and scribbles on the other palm. It went like this. This is Buggy. Buggy says hi. This is Buggy when the car comes by. I wanted to do a variation of this with a dog, where the punchline was that it chases the car. I didn't do it though, since I knew the other kids would yell at me for drawing a dog getting hit by a car. These kinds of misunderstandings happen daily for me. And that's a wrap for 5th grade and elementary school as a whole. Next time we'll talk about 6th grade and the start of middle school. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, check out the playlist of school stories. See you next time. Bye!